What's up, guys? It's Jamar here. In this video, I'm going to be making a quick JavaScript game. So this game is going to be a match the card game. You've probably seen it before in different places. Um, so first, let's create our project. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for this. I'm just going to do command prompt. I'm going to cd into, let's see, my documents. You can put this anywhere you want. Let's see, Node.js projects. List those. Okay, so I want to CD into my YouTube channel, and then I want to make directory called, and I'm just going to call this card match game. You can call this whatever you want, and then I'm going to use code dot, which is VS Code extension, VS Code command, and that allows you to just open up that current folder inside of Visual Studio Code. Just hit enter there. And you can see here we have an empty folder or empty directory. We can close the command prompt. So now what I want to do is so I'm not going to be using jQuery. I'm going to be using the straight up old-fashioned DOM manipulation for this. So you're going to get to see like all of it. All of this is going to be in the link in the description. It's going to be in a public GitHub repo for you. By the time you see this video, it'll be already be on GitHub. So we'll just do index.js. Oh, not index. Well, we need an index.js too, so we'll leave that. But I wanted to do an index.html. That's what I wanted to do. All right. So now I want to do HTML :5. Now, if you have the Emmet extension, that'll basically give you some boilerplate HTML, so that you don't have to, remember all this to type it out. I'm just gonna call this match cards for the title. And so now inside of the body, I just want to add a few things. So I want to do an H1, and this will be a style tag. So this will be a width of 100%, and I'll do a text align center, and I'm gonna do color black, and I'm gonna do margin top 1 view heights. View height, and I just want to simply say match cards. Now, if you don't know quite well what I'm doing here, I have a video for HTML, CSS, JavaScript for beginners on my channel, so you can check that out as well. And that'll cover a lot of the stuff I'm doing here. What I also want to put here is a horizontal row. And so now I want to do another H1. I want this to be empty, and I want to just call this, give it an ID of clock. So like that. I'm going to do style with 100% as well. Actually, I could just copy this. I'll just type it in. It's not much. Text align center, and then color, do green. You can do what you want. And then I'll do margin top again, 1 view height. And so I want to make one more. Let me just come down here, and I want this one to be a win or lose text. So when they win or lose, this will basically be displayed to the user with an ID of win or lose, style tag of 100%, and I'm gonna do text align. I'm gonna do center. I'm gonna do color. Oh wait, no, not color. My bad. This should be margin top, preview heights. And I want to create one more thing. So now basically this is the title of the web page. The actual, like the clock, and then like the win or lose text. So next I want to do a div. That div is basically just going to have an ID picture grid, because this is going to be the grid of the actual images. And I'm going to do class, and I'm going to say app grid. So that's the default class that I'm going to start it with. And then last but not least, I want our JavaScript tag here at the bottom. And so I want the source to be index.js. And so that's that. That's it for the HTML part. So we can close this up completely. And before I do that, if you have the open in browser extension for VS Code, you can actually right click here and say open in browser. You also could do Control plus QW, or you can do, if you're on Windows, I'm not sure if you're on Mac or Linux, but on Windows you can do Alt plus B, and that'll also open it. So if we do that, we can see this is what it looks like so far. Pretty simple. So now what I want to do is go to the CSS. I want to do this in sections because the JavaScript is going to be the biggest piece. So I'm going to do styles CSS. You can name that whatever you want. 1 second, it's actually extremely hot in my car right now. Thinking about changing my name to like auto developer or something, just 'cause I'm always in the car when I record videos. Anyways, give me 1 second here. Alright, I'm back. So now I want to simply do some CSS right here. So because this is really a quick CSS, I guess I can go through it. It's just basically, first we're going to just reset everything. We're going to reset margin and padding. And then I want to do box sizing, border box. So now what I want to do is I want to create a few classes. So that default class of app grid that you saw, inside of there I want to do a display of grid. Then I want to do grid template columns, repeat, and then I want to do 4, 1 FR. So this basically repeats each row. There's going to be 4 columns, and they're all going to be equal in the amount of width. And so now I want to do row gap, 1 view height, just to separate, as well as the column gap, just to put some separation between it. So the column gap, 1 view height. And then I also want to do card of hidden. I want to do animation name, hide card. You can call this whatever you want. I'm going to do animation duration, 2 seconds. And, oops. I want to do animation fill mode to forwards. The fill mode just basically, when the animation is done, it stays where it's at and doesn't reset. And then I want to create the keyframes right under each animation that I make, so it's more like together. And so basically inside of here, I'm gonna do a 0%, 50%, and 100% for like the different like points inside of the animation. And I want to do height, 25 view heights. I want to do background. I want to do CCC for like a light gray. I want to do border. I'm gonna say I guess I'll do like white, because I did CCC when I made it, but then it's like because I didn't change the background to light gray, it didn't look right. So I'm gonna do 1 pixel solid for that. And I also want to do border radius. That's gonna be 10 pixels. And so I just want to copy this for the 50% and 100% and just change a couple of things. So we'll do 50% and we'll do 100. And so inside of here, I want to do a lot of this stuff is going to be the same, except I want to now add a transform property. And this is going to be translate, and it's actually going to be translate Y, for up and down, and I'm going to do 20 pixels. Then I'm going to give it a box shadow as well. And the box shadow is going to be 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 888, which is a little darker gray. And I want to do the same thing for this, but I'm going to change it because I'm going to get rid of the box shadow. So I'm going to transform again. This time it's going to be negative 20 pixels. And it's going to be, I'm going to rotate it as well. And I'm going to say rotate Y, because I want to rotate that on the Y axis, and I want to say 180 degrees. So basically this will resemble actual card flip. And for card show, which is the other class, it's going to be quite similar. So it'll be card show. And for this, I want to just do animation name. And I want to just say show card. Animation duration. I want to say 2 seconds. So you see it a little bit better. I want to do animation fill mode forwards. And so inside of the keyframes, I'm just going to copy this one here because it's kind of the same. So I'll put that here. Show card. And inside of here, I just want to do the height again. But now I want to translate negative 20 pixels. Now I want to translate this one 20 pixels. But everything else is going to be the exact same. And then I also want to create another class below that called Grid Fade. So when the game is over, I want this to be a display of grid as well. And basically, I'm going to copy everything from the grid class. So let me just grab that here. Put that here. So and then I also want to add an animation. So I'm going to do fade grid, animation duration. I'm going to do 3 seconds. Then I want to do animation fill mode to forwards. And so what I want to do now is another keyframe, fade grid. And then inside of here, I just want a 0% and a 100%. And the 0%, I just want the opacity to be a 1. And at the 100%, I want it to be a 0. So basically, it just fades. And next, I want to do, so we got a couple more classes there. I want to do pick show and pick hide. Now, this is going to be for the picture. Now, you can do this a little bit different. You could also just get rid of the picture completely with display of none. But I prefer to do pick show just because it's that way it's like, you know, in terms of dealing with a fixed height, you don't have to really worry about it. I feel like, even though you probably want to fix the height anyway if you want the grid to look even. So anyways, animation, so just forget what I just said. Anyways, animation name show pick. Then I'm gonna do animation duration, that's gonna be 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Then I'm gonna do animation fill mode to forwards. And so inside of here, oops, I don't know what I just did here. What did I just do? Get rid of that. Okay. So I want to do at keyframes. Oops, let me put the name here. Show pick. And inside of here, I just want to do a 0% and 100% of opacity again. So when showing it, the opacity should be 0. When it gets to 100%, I want it to be a 1. And I want to take this entire thing and I want to copy it and make a pick hide class here. This will be pick hide. Oops. Hide pick. This will be a 1. This will be a 0. Don't forget to change this here as well. And last but not least, I want to do, well, not last but not least, but there's a couple more. So this will be after it's already first been loaded, so we don't have to keep showing it. This will be already hidden card, which is basically the container that the image is in. We're going to do background, CCC, border, white 1 pixel solid, and border radius 10 pixels. And I'm going to do a transform, and it's going to be a rotate Y of 180 degrees. And I want to do one more class, and that's going to be already hidden pick. And that's going to be opacity of just simply a 0. So that's it for the CSS. Like I said, if you don't get a lot of this, I have a CSS for beginners video on my channel. Okay, so now for the nitty gritty here. So basically, I want to bring some stuff in. So I want to create a timer variable, and I'm going to set that to the default of 50 seconds. Pix active, which is going to be like the selected pictures. I'm going to set that to an empty array, and then I want a grid list, which is basically going to be the HTML that I put inside of the grid element when we loop through it and concatenate. Our clock, I'm going to grab some documents by their ID now again, so not again, but I'm going to do that now. So var clock is equal to document.getElementID clock. Because remember, that's the, let me just bring this back up. That's the clock here. Now I want to do var grid is equal to the picture grid. And that's the grid right here. And then I want to do var win or lose text is going to be equal to document. And then this is going to be win or lose like that. And that's once again this right here. And I want to do, I have a picture list that I'm gonna like copy and paste in here. This might look scary, but I'm gonna explain it in a second. Let me just go here and grab it. So this picture list here, and you can see it is really long. There's 16 pictures. There's really 8. The reason why there's oh, you know what? I actually forgot to save the pictures before I deleted it off of here, so it won't actually have any pictures. 1 second. Alright guys, so I'm back. You can see here now I have all the images here again. Silly of me to delete that all the way like that. So now, basically each one of these has an ID that gave, and you can actually just go through a loop here, and you can actually use the map function. And you can just add it and then return the entire object using the spread operator. Now obviously if you're compiling down to below ES 2015, then you want to basically not use the spread operator but just map it manually. So now basically like this here is just ID 0 to 15, so there's 16 pictures, the name for each one, and then the actual file path. Okay, now this file path is unique, so the reason why I duplicated it twice, as you can see, is because in order to match it, the file path has to be matched in order for it to be the right picture. And so once you basically have something like that, like I said, I highly recommend you go to the GitHub repo, and you should be able to actually open up this particular file and copy it and paste it in. So hopefully once you have that, you can continue here. So I want to create a few functions. So first I want to do a set clock function. So this set clock function is going to take in a number of seconds, and it's simply going to be if the seconds is greater than or equal to 10, meaning that time isn't like almost up yet. We'll do clock.enter text equal to template literal 00 colon, then it's going to be $ curly brace seconds. So that'll basically format that the right way. Then we're going to do else clock.enter text is equal to template literal 00 colon 0 $ curly brace seconds. That means it's less than 10 seconds. And I also want to do another check if the clock.style.color is not equal to red. When this actually is below 10 seconds, then I want to set it to red. So the reason why I do this is because that way it doesn't get set or rewritten each time. It only does it the first time and that's it. And so now I want to create another function below that. And you can put these in separate files and use like Webpack and stuff to kind of import and everything like that. Or just multiple script tags. But I just put it all in one because it's a pretty simple game. And all the functions are pretty neat in order. So you want to do timer, or I said my brain is all over the place. Sorry about that, guys. It's not timer. Timer minus. That's like saying minus equals the 1. Now I want to do if timer is greater than 0 and, so meaning there's still time left on the clock, picture list.length is also greater than 0, meaning that the pictures, there's still like pictures left that need to be like removed. Then I want to do set clock timer, and then I want to do else if the timer is less than or equal to 0, meaning that it hits 0, because it's still going to keep going. And then be picture list.length, and you can get it to stop with a boolean or something like that, but I just didn't include it. So else if, and then picture list.length is greater than 0. So I want to do let game over time, which is going to be the actual game over like text pretty much. And I'm going to say clock.enterText is going to be equal to game over time. And then I'm also going to do clock.style.color is going to be equal to red. And then below that I'm going to say win or lose text, enter text is equal to you lose. And then I'm going to say win or lose text dot style dot color is going to be equal to red as well. And I simply want to say grid dot class name, not class. And we only have one class, so we're not doing class list, but class name grid fade like that. Now that'll basically set it to that grid of fade. Now you can do a display of none if you want. If you don't want the user to even be able to click on the images when the grid fades, but because they can't see anything anyway when they click on it, it should be fine. You also can do, well, not also, this is actually one of the things I did. So let me do function check if right. So this is when they select two pictures and I want to check if they're both right. So we'll do let pick div 1 equal to, because there's two of them, document dot get element ID, and I'm gonna do pix active first one dot name, which is gonna be one of the fields. Then I want to do that again for the second one, so let me just grab this here. Let's say pick div 2. This will be the second index. Then I also want to do let actual pick, which is the pick inside of the div. I'm going to say document. You'll see what I mean when I actually create the HTML to put inside of the grid. So this will be pix active of 0 dot actual pick name, like so. And then I want to copy this and do it for the second one as well. So grab that. Then we'll do 1. And there we go. So now below that, I want to do if. I'm going to say if the file paths are equal. So if pix active of 0 dot file path is equal to pix active dot not dot but square brackets of 1 file path, so meaning that it's a match. I want to do picture list equal, and I basically just want to filter this. So we'll do that filter picture, and then we'll do. Also, if you're not sure about higher order array methods, I have a JavaScript for beginners video that goes over that. That's all I want to do. If the picture, file path, so the file path, whatever the current picture is, if it's not equal to the pix active. Now, both the pix active of 0 and 1 should be the same file path, so you only got to check one of them. So if it's not equal, then we simply want to return the picture. And then if it is, we don't return anything. And then once that's done, I want to set pix active to an empty array again to basically redo it. And I want to have a method here called Reinitialize Grid, and it's going to basically pass in picture list. And I'll make that in a second. So else, if they don't match, I simply want to do pick div one dot class name is equal to card hidden. So this makes it flip back over, as well as the pick div 2 dot class name. Then I want to do actual pick dot class name. You can get way more dynamic with this and do like, you have to match 3 instances of the same file path, and like you can do a loop and you can set the class name for each one inside of like some type of array that you, after you put all like the variables in an array, so that you can set each one. So there's many different things you can do for that. But anyways, actual pick one dot class name is equal to pick hide. Remember, these are the CSS methods. And then actual pick 2 dot class name is equal to pick hide, like that. And then pix active is going to be equal to an empty array again. And so function, this is the next function here. This is going to be pick flip. So when the actual user flips the picture by clicking on it, and I'm going to do, so we want to pass in the event. I'm going to do let name equal to e.target.id. So because I didn't make the picture a display of none when they click, because the picture takes up the whole container, it's going to actually register the image as the actual event target and not the div. So just be aware of that. Let pick ID equal to name.substring. This is going to be 13 because I actually named the actual pick. You want to avoid hard coding, but because I actually named it consistently, this will be fine. So you want to do card is equal to documents dot get element by ID, and then this will be pick. So these is going to be like pick 1, pick 0, pick 1, pick 2. That's going to be the actual the ID of each div. And then the actual ID, actual pick, the ID of each picture is going to be actual pick 1, actual pick 2, actual pick 3. But because that's the name already, we can just pass that in for that. The name is really the ID in this case. So I could have named that something different. I'm going to give this a pick num, and I'm going to say this is the pick ID. I'm going to say actual pick ID, so it makes more sense. Now when you get the actual GitHub repo, it's not going to be like this, but I'm just doing this in the video to change it, just so it makes more sense. So actual pick ID, this should be pick num. And so now what I want to do is I want to say if the card, this is like toggling it. Now with jQuery you can make this a lot simpler, but if the card of class name is equal to card of hidden, I want to do card.className equals card show. So just basically toggling the different classes. I want to do actual pick dot class name equal to pick show. And then I also want to do picks active. So now I want to actually, because if they basically if it's flipping a card to show it, now I want to append it to that list. It'll always have only 2 elements in it for the selected pictures. So the picks active or the active picks is going to be actual pick.id, and then it's going to be name, and this is going to be pick $pick num again, and then this is going to be, and that's the name for the div. It's going to be the actual pick name, which is going to be the actual name of the actual picture, which is really the ID, and then the file path. And that file path is going to be images slash $ curly brace actual pick dot alt, which is going to be like if there is no image, and then .jpeg. Now you want to basically be more dynamic if there's different MIME types. To check the MIME type by like using a split and splitting the array and then checking like the dot after the dot to see what MIME type it is and putting that there for the file path. So now I'm going to do else card.class name is going to be equal to card hidden actual pick dot class name is going to be equal to pick hide, and then picks active is going to be equal to picks active dot filter, and then it's going to be each pick where the pick ID is not equal to the actual pick ID. So basically it's going to return everything that's not the one that we actually want to basically flip back over. And I'm going to do if picks active dot length is equal to 2, should never be greater than, and then it'll be check if right. Now that's going to go call this method here, and that's where it's actually going to check. And we'll see what Reinitialized Grid does in a minute, as well as Initialize Grid. Also close this here. And so what I want to do now is I want to create this shuffle function here. Now this function of shuffle, I actually had to look up because I couldn't do the normal shuffle of JavaScript. So basically, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. So let me just open this really quickly. Let me go to my favorites. Let's see here. Favorites bar. This one. So this is the link here for this question. You can see the question is here. Stack Overflow is something you want to really get familiar with when looking up stuff. When you have like trouble, you want to figure it out on your own first. But sometimes if you don't know what's going on like under the hood with certain things, not with this particular example, but sometimes it's good to just look it up when you're learning as well, just so that you can understand it. So here's the function here. You can see the description here from this guy. Let's see, where is he at? So basically, I think it's this person here somewhere. So that's the person I'm giving credit to for this answer. So you can see here, this is what the actual function is here. And so I'm going to actually type it out though, because I want to actually explain what it's doing. So if our current index is equal to array.length, which is the length of the array that we pass in here, which I'm actually going to have to do here. And then I want to do comma temporary value as well as random index. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to say while current index is not equal to 0. We want to basically say random index, and we want to actually do math.floor to basically round down instead of rounding up. Then I want to do math.random to get a random number between 0 and 1, so it'll give you a decimal. You want to times that by the current index. And then when we floor downward, that'll give us a whole number. Then I want to do current index minus equals 1 or minus minus. And I want to do temporary value is equal to array of the current index. Because we want to take the current index and we want to like put it somewhere to store it while we switch it out. And then we're going to do array of current indexes. Now, once we have that value, we can actually replace it without losing it. And so it'll be random index. And then we want to take the random index. We want to set that to the temporary value. So basically, we're just like replacing them, like flip-flopping them and stuff. And when this while loop is done, meaning that the current index from the actual whole length of the array is now 0 because we subtract each time by 1, what we want to do is actually return that array. So that's the function of shuffle. So next I want to create Initialize Grid and Reinitialize Grid. Initialize Grid is for when this first starts, and I want to do a Reinitialize Grid when the user actually selects two pictures. So we're going to do first initialize grid, and it's going to be pick list equal to that shuffled or randomized list. So pick list like that. I want to do pick list dot for each. I want to say for each picture, I want to semicolon there. I want to do grid list, which remember is that empty string all the way at the very top here at the beginning. And I want to say plus equals. And I want to do a template literal syntax, and I'm going to do a div like this. And at the very bottom, I'm going to put the closing div there. And inside of here, I want to actually add some things to the div. I'm also going to tab this over so it looks neater. So we'll do class is equal to double quotes, card of hidden. Then we'll do name is equal. You probably could do single quotes, but I just did it with double quotes when I did it. And this is going to be the pick.id. And then we're going to give it an ID as well. Pick.id. And then I also want to do, well, actually, that would be it for the div. So inside of the div, I want to create an image. So it'll be an image like that. And inside of there, I want to do source is going to be equal to pick.file path like that. And I want to do the alt, which is going to be if the picture doesn't show up, and that's going to be the pick name, but I can grab the alt as well from the node that I basically get when I use the document.getelement by ID, and I can actually use that to help create the file path to put inside of the list, as you saw earlier. So that's why I'm doing that as well. That's another reason I'm doing. You want to put alts in general, but that's just another reason I was doing that. And then I want to do a style tag width of 100%, height of 100%, and then you want to put your well, first that actually should be that. I'm gonna put your semicolons after each one. This is just basically CSS, and we do overflow of hidden. And then below that, I want to do some more stuff. So I want to do class is equal to pick hide. Then I want to do the ID for the picture. That's going to be actual picture. And it's going to be pick.id like that. That'll be it. So this will basically just loop through and create that HTML to be basically put inside of the grid when it's done concatenating. Now I'm just going to say set the divs to grid. And so it's going to be grid inner HTML is equal to grid list. So we're going to copy this whole function here because we want to reinitialize it. And so we'll just do Reinitialize Grid. It's going to be mostly the same stuff. The only difference is some of the class names. So instead of pick hide, this is going to be already hidden pick. And then I want to do already hidden card up here. And also want to take this away here. I mean, we can reset it if we want, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, do I really want to reset it? That'd be extra hard. You can do this if you want here. I'm gonna get rid of it here as well. Plus, when I made it, I basically didn't put that there. It was actually by complete accident, but it made it actually a little bit better in my opinion. So now we'll do grid.onClick, and we'll do function events because we want to. That's this basically now we're setting an on-click event. You can also do add event listener, and we're gonna do pick flip, and it's just gonna pass in the event like that. So at the very bottom, once all the functions are initialized and everything, and we also want to do initialize grid just to get everything rolling. So we'll do picture list like that. And right below that, last but not least, I want to do a set interval so that it loops of countdown for the function, and then 1,000 milliseconds for the amount of time between each loop. And so that's going to basically, once again, call the countdown method here, which is basically going to decrease that by 1 each time and then do all the other stuff. So we do a countdown, we set the clock each time, render it. When the user selects 2 pictures, we check if right. If it is, we remove those pictures, and then we actually return the list, and then we reinitialize. Else, we set everything back to hidden and stuff. And then this is when the user flips the card. We basically check if it's hidden. If it's not, we show it. If it's already shown, we make it hidden. We actually append all the metadata that we need for each picture into this pix active list here. And then what we do is we basically check it right, and I showed you that. This basically randomizes the picture list, and we use that when we initialize. And that's basically everything here. So if we run this, once again, we can just do Alt-B. You can make this way better. This is just the beginning. Oh wait, it's not loading up. 1 second. Let me inspect this. Grid list is not defined at index 194. So let's go there really quickly. Oh wait, there should be a semicolon there. That might be the reason. Let me try it again. Also, let me make sure I actually brought in grid list too. Yep, I have it there. So let's try this again. Okay, let me see. Grid list is not defined at 194. Grid capital L list 194. Oh, I have a lowercase l here. You guys probably caught that. My bad. Let me also make sure I change this one here as well. Alright. Simple mistakes, man. They're costly sometimes. Alright, so Alt B. Oh, I ran out of internet. 1 second. Man, alright. Alt B. Oh, I didn't bring up the index HTML. Okay. Let me just close this. All right, Alt B again. Finally. Um, okay, for some reason. All right, guys, I'm back. I couldn't figure out exactly it was like some kind of bug with the grid. It wasn't rendering for a certain reason. There's some bug with it. The source code on GitHub that I have works because when I did it the first time, for some reason it works. Everything's the same as you can see, but for some reason there was some bug with the grid where it was all like in one line. Even though I had like the repeat of 4 and 1 FR here, for some reason it didn't like render. Not exactly sure why. So basically I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's completed. So alright, so if I do Alt B, you can see that's what it looks like, and we have to sit here and figure it out. If it's wrong, you see it goes back. Oh my goodness. Oh crap. Okay, let's see here. You can also, if you want to flip one back over, you can just do that and it'll flip it back over. So we got one, so you can see it stays now. And obviously there's a bug. If you click it again, it can actually go back over. So you want to figure out how to fix that. See? So if you do that, it'll actually go back over. So you want to figure out how to basically fix that. I'll give you a hint. Basically, when they're being flipped over, you can actually give it a boolean of completed or not. And if that boolean is obviously completed, then you don't want to be able to activate it again. So I mean that's just something that you can figure out here. But actually, I just wanted to win one time. So like I said, this is on GitHub here, the entire thing. So yeah, I want to win just so that I can show you like basically what it does. Crap. Okay. Uh, okay. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I was about to say. I thought. Okay. I think it's this one. Yeah. Then we got. Ooh, I got that one. You see, like how it just basically. Uh, there's like the little bug there, but this is really tough actually. You can increase the time if you want as well. Let me try this one more time here. Uh, I got lucky there. Let's see here. Whew. Alright, so you can see here it goes away. Now you can say match cards, you win. So it's simple enough. So it's on GitHub for you to play around with. You can like show it to your friends or your family if you like, look what I made today. It's a pretty cool application. It's really addicting. You can obviously make it better and better. So I hope you learned something from this video. Just taking you through all the logic of everything here. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section. And until next time.